It was a late summer afternoon at the lake cabin, the kind where the air carries the scent of pine and water laps gently against the shore. My family had been settling in for the weekend when I noticed an unusual pattern. The cabin's electricity readings spiked every time Karen number 55 arrived, her audacious habit of plugging her devices into my outlets without permission. Initially, I ignored it, thinking it a minor annoyance. But after several weeks, it became clear. She was not just careless. She was deliberately attempting to assert dominance over my property, treating my cabin as if it were public or communal. Every time she plugged in a charger, a lamp, or an appliance, she believed she was subtly undermining my authority. I decided it was time to turn audacity into a lesson. With a calm smile, I performed a minor but clever rewiring. The outlet she favored daily, the one closest to the porch, was rerouted to the septic system's electrical line. Fully functional, but entirely harmless to the cabin itself. Anyone plugging into it would unknowingly activate a circuit tied to the septic tank's operation. A few days later, as expected, Karen arrived with her usual entourage. She sauntered into the cabin, scowling at my refusal to provide power for her devices. Unbothered, she approached the outlet, plugging in her phone charger with a triumphant smirk. Within seconds, subtle but undeniable changes occurred. The septic system's pumps whirred quietly, valves shifted, and the entire cabin smelled faintly of the very sewage treatment system she had unknowingly activated. Her face went pale as she realized the consequences. But by then, it was too late. Audacity had collided with preparation, and she had fallen squarely on the losing side. I entered the cabin casually, sipping my coffee, and observed the scene with calm amusement. "Interesting day, isn't it?" I said, keeping my tone neutral but firm. Karen flailed, attempting to disconnect, but her confusion only highlighted her lack of awareness. "This outlet," I continued, "is wired directly to the septic system. Any device you plug in here now participates in the property's operations. Perhaps next time you'll think twice before using equipment that isn't yours." Her supporters gaped, realizing that she had been outmaneuvered not with violence or confrontation, but with clever preparation and legal ownership. Karen number 55, audacious as ever, had assumed that her daily habit of using my outlet was harmless. She had failed to consider the consequences of her assumptions and the knowledge of the property's systems. By evening, the cabin returned to calm. The family laughed quietly over the incident, impressed by the creative and nonviolent enforcement of property rights. Karen, however, left the cabin flustered, her face still reflecting the realization that audacity cannot override preparation, and that entitlement on someone else's property can have unexpected consequences. Neighbors, who later heard the story, marveled at the cleverness of the setup. Karen's overreach became a cautionary tale. When audacity meets preparation, the audacious rarely come out unscathed. The lake reflected the evening sky, serene and undisturbed, while my family enjoyed the cabin in peace. The outlets were now monitored, the cabin fully secured, and the message was unmistakable. Private property, clever preparation, and legal authority will always protect against the assumptions of the audacious. Karen number 55 had learned, perhaps permanently, that overstepping boundaries, even in small ways, can have unexpectedly powerful consequences.